My name is Allison Deering, and I am uploading the final project for this class. And I did my report on my sous chef. That is has a very big impact with me, and he was also on Iron Chef. So I don't know. He inspired me a lot this year, though. Alberto, why don't you help everyone else clean? You always just stand there and watch everyone else, said Joe. I didn't work at these stations, just mine, so I shouldn't have to help and do everyone else's work, said Alberto. We work as a team, and if you don't want to work together, then you can just go home, said Joe. Alberto ended up leaving, didn't show up for work the next day, and quit. As I was interviewing Joe, he said that he would not have done anything differently because he had given Alberto a choice to stay and clean or to go home. When an employee is being selfish and not helping the other employees, it brings the whole team down, causing people to get very upset. Joe hasn't been a sous chef for a very long time, but he has moved up in his management very fast. He attains information quickly, and he still is learning. Joe is 24 years old and graduated with an applied science degree from Le Cordon Bleu. He reached the decision that he wanted to cook when he was 7 years old, after he saw his grandfather cleaning a wild boar. Ever since this, his passion for cooking has grown. He has worked at Piccolo Sogno Du since it has opened. Interviewing Joe went as I expected it would. His answers to the questions were elaborate, and he kept the conversations flowing when questions were difficult. Piccolo Sogno is a small restaurant business. Many of the employees know each other through family and friends. Hiring someone to work at Piccolo is just a phone call away. In such a small business, a human resource department is not important. Communication is sometimes hard between employees because of the language barrier and stubborn personalities, but it doesn't stop them from trying to communicate. Communication is very important in a kitchen. Joe stated that a lack of communication is a waste of money. Work would not get done, and communication helps the company to run smoothly. Leadership is sometimes hard to find in the kitchen because everyone always thinks of himself or herself. When asking about a case scenario in a kitchen that showed good leadership, Joe stated that whenever there's a tough time in the kitchen, pushing through is showing good leadership. Like the story above proves, there are many times when employees do not show leadership. All employees need motivation to get through work every day. This can be hard because this is a second job for a lot of employees. 3 ways that employees are motivated is through strong management, striving to do better for themselves, and competition, because there is always a fear that they can be easily replaced. Motivation needs to be found in employees as well as guests. The customer's motivation to visit Piccolo Sogno Du is both the quality of the seafood and the reputation it has built up from the original restaurant. Many employees like their job, but at times become frustrated with the stress. Some employees participate in bad behavior, which leads to disciplinary problems. Unfortunately, they get caught in the heat of the moment, and everyone has a breaking point. To resolve problems, Joe first listened to both sides of the story before taking the right legal actions. Many employees can avoid getting in trouble at work if they know coping mechanisms that can help to manage stressful times. Joe, for example, goes outside to smoke, walks in the cooler and screams, or talks to his boss about what's wrong. Joe also tries to step in and fill in the station of a stressed out employee so that the person can take a break. The reason why Joe got a promotion is because he is smart and makes good decisions. At times, Joe does need help with decision making, and he turns to his boss and then uses his best judgment. Joe believes that the most important decision involves involves employees, and the least important decisions are menu changes. At Piccolo Sogno Do, the turnover of cooks is low. All the cooks have been working there for a while and no one is new. When Joe has to find a new person for the line, he looks internally because everyone who works at Piccolo is family of the owners or friends. And if Joe knows someone interested in the position on the line that already is an employee, he will give him or her the opportunity before finding someone new at the restaurant. When Joe interviews someone, the first thing he looks for is where they most recently worked, what chefs they have worked for, and how long they have been working at their job. Piccolo does not do background checks because it would be a waste of money, and all of the employees have known the owners for years. When training a new employee, Joe introduces them to the atmosphere, the people they will work with in their stations. Joe will stand by and see that the employee is capable, see what the employee is capable of, and if he or she works well with others. Through training the employees, Joe has learned that people have limitations and every person is different. One method that works for someone would perhaps not help someone else. Joe also keeps employees retained by making sure they are getting paid on time and showing them respect. Managing the employees is a lot of work, but so is inventory. Each day, Joe has to count every item in the dry storage cooler, and he decides how much food is needed to be delivered to Piccolo every day. Joe is accountable for making sure that all items are good quality and that the purveyor doesn't try to scam the restaurant with poor products. Two other challenges with managing the restaurant are keeping current knowledge in the customer base and running the restaurant as one fluid machine. Joe's favorite part about managing is being able to teach people. Joe has helped a lot of people, and with that he has learned what methods of management works well for him, such as hands-on techniques, hands-on teaching, and building camaraderie between employees. Joe has been following the executive chef and understands what are smart decisions and ways to make them. Joe's philosophy for management is very similar to both the owners and executive chefs. He follows their guidance and gets positive results. His perspective has changed in the culinary field since he first started by realizing that there are actually not as many good cooks out there, and the culinary schools are not like they used to be. His work ethic will get him a long ways, and he is still in following his mentor, Chef Todd. Thank you for listening.